16 and 17. So we're going to go ahead and thread the black wire here through the front of the plastic, and you can see there's little clips to clip it to there. So go ahead and clip it to there. And again, if you're doing this with kids, they may like this part and they may find this part kind of tedious. But you want to keep it out of the way of your recorder head. There, so fed the black wire through those parts, and now we're going to hook the black wire up behind the nut there. So you can see that the black wire has a little hook on it, and that's going to go on the behind the bottom screw between the bolt and the plastic. And I found that I didn't need a wrench to do this. I could just do it finger tight, and it worked just fine. But the important part, of course, is to make sure that the metal is all touching, that the metal U is touching the metal bolt, so because you're going to complete a circuit between this wire and the red wire there inside by completing the circuit on the outside with this metal bar. So the next step, obviously, is to take the red wire and put it through its respective clips in the back there and hook it up, and then go ahead and screw it up to you can see it in there, hang on, the top screw there. And then push that down. And that one's going to come in from the side. You may find you have a little bit of slack. I want most of the slack to be up toward this end where the switch is. Clip it in there. As you can see, this build takes a while. Okay, clip it in. Again, I'm going to screw this on, finger tight. Now here's where it becomes tricky because you can't reach the screw with the screwdriver here. So you're going to have to make sure that you bolt it on. Hold that down. Hold that in place while you turn the bolt. There we go. So now we should have a completed circuit. You notice that inside the housing here we've got black wire hooked up to the bottom bolt, and that goes to the battery box over here, and then the red wires coming from the battery box, this long red wire coming from the battery box and hooking up to the top screw there, and there's a gap inside, but if you go to the outside, that metal strip here is going to connect, is going to complete that circuit there, and you can see that. On the one that I've already built. You notice also that the wires to the motor hook up to the battery compartment as well. Now here's where it gets tricky, because in a minute it's going to ask you to put on the on-off stickers to your outside switch. So you're going to bolt on this on-off switch to your unit. Now in the one I've already built, like I said, it seems a bit opposite to me, where it's definitely off when that's holding that out, but to turn it on has seemed a bit trickier. So either I have to hold it down with my finger, which is not bad because it gives you more sensitive control, or I have to physically pick it up and put it on top there. So I would wait until you've figured out how this is going to work before you put your on-off stickers on there. Up to you. And you notice every time this thing goes clunk, clunk, it's taking a little chunk out of the recording that we made earlier. So careful with that going clunk, 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 clunk all the time. Back there. Okay, so we've completed step all the way through step 18, and now we're going to do step 19, where we're going to put that on-off switch on the outside here. So we're going to go ahead and put this on here. Remember to use a pointy screw. There we go. So this is going to go, remember this goes outside, and this screw is going to come out from the inside here. This part can be tricky as well. So this is again where your magnetized screwdriver is going to come in handy. And put this on the outside. So you line it up with the hole. This is trickier. This can be tricky. Now the other thing that's tricky about this is you want to make sure that this on-off switch moves freely, but not too freely. Okay, so here our on-off switch. On this one I think we've done a pretty good job. We've got on, and then we can turn it, and we'll see which ends up being on and which ends up being off. I think I need to make that a little heavier. So make that a little tighter. Okay, so now that definitely, the way I've put it, that definitely makes that off. You can see it's lifted up, and then if I turn it this way, hopefully that'll contact the screw, connect there and be on. So this might actually work with the on-off the way that it's supposed to. We'll see. So I turn that definitely so that this is off the screw, because you want to make sure that's off while you put your batteries in the battery compartment. So that's the next step. We've attached the on-off switch, and now we're going to go ahead and do step 21, where we're going to put the batteries in the battery compartment. Remember to handle batteries safely. So I'm going to go ahead and put Batteries in standard way. Springs are a little bit crooked. Battery in. And number 3. Here we go. And you notice that it recommends that you check to make sure that the motor and pulley turn before you put the battery case, the battery cover on top of the battery compartment. So let's go ahead and give that a try. I'm going to see if this on-off switch works as well. Oh, look at that! Huh. So this on-off switch actually works the way it's supposed to. So what I recommend is make sure that this stays perfectly straight. We ended up bending it when we were putting the other one on. So whether yours ends up working like this, hang on. That's pretty good control. Or like that. Definitely off and somewhat on. Make sure that this part stays nice and straight when you put it on. So our on-off switch works. Show that to you again. And you notice that our pulley is still a bit chunky. It's not as smooth as we might like it, and it's making some noise. We may have to fix that later. This one, as you can see, so far moves nice and smoothly. So we had to do some sanding to get that to work. Put that down. Alright, so we've got that part down, so we're going to go ahead and screw the battery compartment cover in. And you just need a basic regular screw for that, so we're going to go ahead and put that on here. So these, the 2 bits that come in the end, there's slots for them. There's a couple of slots for them right there. Just go ahead and put the slots on, and then that'll line up that hole there nicely. And you gotta watch out a little bit for your wires. It's the only tricky part here. Put those parts under here. There we go. That's off the regular screw. There we go. So that phase of our kit is complete.